I feel like I've always had a camera in my hand.
Yeah.
I remember my first camera. I was maybe 2 years old. It was this little purple camera, and it was film, of course, 35 millimeter, but it was a small little purple camera.
Yeah.
And it had this little purple travel case, too, and my mom had gotten it for me, and I took it everywhere, and she would take me. I remember I'd get excited to go get the film developed and to see things from my perspective, and she actually still has some of those pictures. We have a couple albums with these pictures I took when I was a toddler.
Curve the cube will now initiate.
Thanks so much for joining me on episode 120, where I feature one of my new best friends. Seriously, I told her I was adopting her as my new little sister, Nikyta Haynes, whose brand is Kyta Beez Media, and her tagline is definitely different, and I can personally testify that this girl stands out. I got to meet her at an art exhibit by longtime friend of the show, Jafleu. She was walking around doing her thing and taking pictures. I had brought my son, she's a photographer by the way, I brought my son Jordon along with me and surprised him by bringing his camera so he too could take pictures. He also wants to be a photographer when he grows up, after all. We ran into Nikyta while wandering the various photography studios, and Jordon and I were both instantly taken by her. She was so kind to him. He loved her cool camera, as he put it, and they even took pictures together in one of the professional studios. I mean, you simply don't meet kind people like that every day. And when she gave me a glimpse into her story, I just had to have her on the show. And she was so nice in joining me at my Entrepreneur Influencers Brunch hosted by Style Chambers last weekend. She took some great photos of the event, so I'll share the link to her gallery in this episode's show notes. All right, now sit back and relax and listen to this inspiring episode with Nikyta Haynes, and check out her work at KytaBeez.com. That's KYTABEEZ.com. It's episode 120. Enjoy. First of all, I'm so excited to be sitting here with you. So do you prefer Nikyta or just Kyta? Because you introduced me as Nikyta, but I saw everywhere you're Kyta.
I know. I have so many names. Some people call me Nixie. Some call me Nikki. So depending on what you call me, I know where you know me by.
Gotcha.
So my day job, I sell insurance, and I go by Nikki at work.
Gotcha.
And I'm Nixie online mostly. My Facebook is Nixie. Kyta is my business.
Yeah.
Nikyta, of course, is my full name, but
Right.
whatever comes out of your mouth is great.
Right, there you go. And Kyta Beez is your brand. And I love like seeing all your different Instagram accounts and everything. You're busy girl.
Yes, busy like a bee for sure. It's nonstop.
Yeah, that's good.
Organizing is definitely the word of the week of
God.
the year.
It's always important. Trust me. I know. Well, we got to meet at Jafleu's exhibit like a few weeks ago now.
Mm-hmm.
Love that dude. And I was so
awesome.
happy when I met you. My son fell in love with you.
I told you, he's my new best friend. I absolutely love him. Oh, my womb started jumping. I'm like, you should take him with me.
I know how that could be. But so
He's
I was
amazing,
really, thank
seriously.
you. You're so sweet. He talks about you. You really left a
Oh my
solid
gosh.
impression. You
He's
really
amazing.
did.
He's his own little dude.
And one of
He's
my
so great.
questions is provided by him, actually. So
Ooh,
yeah, we'll
looking
get to
forward
it.
to it.
But my first question is, what made you pick up a camera in the first place?
I feel like I've always had a camera in my hand.
Yeah.
I remember my first camera. I was maybe 2 years old. It was this little purple camera, and it was film, of course, 35 millimeter, but it was a small little purple camera.
Yeah.
And it had this little purple travel case, too, and my mom had gotten it for me, and I took it everywhere, and she would take me. I remember I'd get excited to go get the film developed and to see things from my perspective, and she actually still has some of those pictures. We have a couple albums with these pictures I took when I was a toddler.
That's adorable.
And I have to really give it to, he would be my granduncle, my grandmother's brother.
Okay.
He gave me my first official camera, a Minolta 35 millimeter as well, that is amazing.
Yeah.
That was actually recently taken from me. And earlier this year, I went through a little robbery.
I've been through that. I know.
It's
Your
the
pain.
worst.
It
really
is
the worst.
Yeah.
But that camera's really special to me.
Yeah.
And I've just always had a love of photography. And for me, it's like capturing time, which is priceless.
Oh, that's so true.
And that's really what it is for me. I mean, it's the most important thing. You think about people when they're going through disasters or your home is on fire. What's the first thing, after your family's safe, you're grabbing the family photos.
Right, that's true.
It's memories. That's true. Really all we have at the end of the day. And pictures is a way to have tangible memories.
Yeah.
So I feel really cool that I'm able to take pictures and help people remember things.
That's a lovely way to put it, I must say. Yeah. So as your eye is looking through that lens, the lens of a camera, what are you looking for?
It's really whatever I see. I'm looking for something that captures my eye, definitely something that looks different and something that's interesting to me. I'm curious. I'm curious about a lot of things. So if it looks interesting, then I want to see it from my perspective and immortalize it with the camera.
That's great. What's your favorite type of photography or favorite type of work that you like to create?
That's a hard one for sure.
Because I saw a lot of different stuff. You have beautiful flowers and things and some people and different,
Definitely. Kids, I would say, are awesome because kids are easy.
They are.
They really are, because they don't have that ego, that we have.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
That's what it is. They're just themselves naturally, just like nature, So I would say kids and nature, but then on the other end of the spectrum, I really love boudoir. So it's really just depends on my muse and my model and my inspiration of the moment. It's I draw inspiration from everywhere, so constantly creating.
That's true. Are you creative in a lot of other ways in your life? Because I did happen to see something on one of your websites that I don't know if it's you make it or you're just helping to sell it, but hemp jewelry, macrame stuff, which is I used to do macrame.
That actually is not made by me. That is made by my twin cousin, Tazra.
Oh.
Yes, and I was promoting some of her handmade
Gotcha,
work.
Okay.
She taught me how to do some. I have yet to finish even one bracelet. She's amazing, and she's also an artist as well. I think that's someone that you should speak with. She's up in Maine, too. We had to do one of those mobile interviews with her. Actually, her dad, the one I was telling you, my granduncle, that's her father.
Oh, interesting.
Another connection there.
So it definitely is a tight family.
Absolutely. And it's strange because we didn't grow up together. We actually met each other maybe 8 or 9 years ago at this point. We weren't raised together. She grew up in Maine. I grew up down here. The family was separated. And when we came together, it was just literally like a twin flame. It was crazy. And she's the only person in my family that I like the most to like. And it's amazing to me. She's awesome.
You guys should do some of those crazy photos where you really try to twins it up. And
seriously,
you really should.
We've had some fun photo shoots. We're going to have to do it some more.
And I also saw another, not twins it up exactly, but you're twin posing with a ballerina, and it's because... Go ahead, you say it. You reveal it.
Yes. I am a former ballerina myself. Many, many years I danced. And yes, prima ballerina. I went on point at 9.
Wow.
I started dancing at 3. It was something that I was really dedicated to when I was younger.
Yeah.
And it's definitely still having effects on my body now. I feel like I have 80-year-old joints some mornings. One of those. But I feel like classical training is good for all young ladies, for everyone actually. It promotes good posture and good health.
As I sit here slouched.
I know. Reach back.
I know, right? I'm hiding behind this microphone. But did the experience of being a dancer, because you have to really become in touch with your body and know it very well. So did that give you a different appreciation of form, and does that translate into your photography?
That's a really great question, and I would definitely say so. I'm very much into, I would say, fluidity.
Yeah.
Is the word I'm looking for. So posture and the way someone carries themselves, just the essence. You can capture someone's essence, even if it's not a full body photo. It can be a portrait, and you're looking just in someone's eyes, and even in that, you can capture the essence. I think that I'm looking for, but most definitely I would say that dancing has an effect on what I do in my work, and I like to work with all different types of models and body types.
Yes! I saw you when you do your open casting calls, I noticed something that tingled my brain in a very, very positive way. You said, I forget exactly how you put it, but something like creative body types are appreciated or something like that.
Yes. Basically, it's open to unique beauty.
Yes.
And that's my favorite type of beauty. That's sneaky beauty. Sometimes it's not.
Sneaky beauty?
Yeah, it's not in your face. It's not necessarily the girl that, spent, 2 hours getting ready.
Right.
It doesn't even matter. But just something that makes you want to look closer. That piques curiosity.
Because I guess that inner beauty that you can shine on the outside somehow. Yeah,
absolutely.
And there was one picture in particular that stood out. Going back to the ballerina, that you had her poised up in like a window. Kind of, an outside window, and the way she's looking, and I just was curious, what was that conversation like? Did you have to get her up there, or was she just adventurous?
She really was great.
You're really curious.
It was, interestingly enough, she's 12 years old. Her name is Savanya. She's an amazing dancer. She's off on some dancers retreat right now, but it was her first photo shoot.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and she was such a natural. She was amazing, and anything I asked her to do, she was willing to do. Her mom was there. Her mom was super cool. Her mom was Kari, and we had a great time.
Yeah.
And I asked her, we were on the stairs, we were down at City Place, and there was the little window right there. I asked her to get in and just basically go with the flow, do what she was feeling, and it was a great shoot.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. So now it's time for Jordan's question.
Ooh, tell me.
So he wanted to know, because, he wants to be a photographer. Did you have to go to special school?
That's a really good question, and I have never actually, if you asked me this question a year ago, I could have truthfully said that I've never taken a photography class in my life. But now I have to say I did just take a film photography class at Palm Beach State last semester, which was
going back
amazing.
to your roots of the film.
Oh my God, it was so much fun. We were in the dark room, and I made a lot of mistakes, and there were some tears, there was some agony, but it was a really, really great experience. My professor, Dr. Durbach, he was great. I think we made a great connection. So I'm going to take his digital photography class coming up soon. And so short answer to the question is no. You don't need any special form of schooling. I think you just need to have a creative eye and curiosity.
Right.
And you can work with any camera, really. That's something that I've learned a long time ago. And also my professor just solidified that. One of the best cameras that he uses, and he has all kinds of crazy, amazing equipment.
Yeah.
It's some $25, like single focus camera. And he said he got it in China, literally paid $25 for it, and it's one of his favorite, piece of equipment to use.
There you go.
I think it's really all in the eye, and of course, beauty's in the eye of the beholder and of the photographer.
That's true. That's true. So what are your goals with your photography? What do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Not that question, but when you think about it and it's in your blood and you're passionate about it, what do you envision for yourself doing with it?
There's so many things that I want to do. Short-term goals, I would have to say, is to get a studio, somewhere local. And that's the hard part of deciding is where I want to set roots. So maybe a mobile studio.
Yeah.
And go to people. And I love working on location. I feel like, look at God's canvas, look around us. Nature is my studio. Nature is my backdrop.
Right.
So I enjoy being outside. I'm a very active person. And I like capturing people in their natural state and environment. So I think the mobile studio is something that I'm definitely looking into. There's a lot of work that I want to do to give back to. I come from Jamaica. My family is, my roots are Jamaican, and there's a lot of people down there that have a lot of talent, and a lot of things to give, but opportunity is scarce.
Right.
So if there's any way that I can bring about opportunity or creativity or something, to enrich and give something, back to my mother's land is something that I want to do. And I don't know, there's so many things, honestly. I just want to be happy.
Well, good. And so then how do you keep yourself from, I know you mentioned that you just took the photography class and you're going to take another, and you have your sights set on a studio, probably mobile studio. Mm-hmm. How do you keep yourself from settling, and how do you keep yourself always reaching?
Well, I'm a naturally inquisitive person. I would say curiosity is definitely my tagline for my company is definitely different. And the reason for that is because you don't know what to expect from me, and I like that. I've been described as an enigma, I think rightfully so. And I think that element of surprise is something that is exciting. That's what the Kyta Beez experience is about. And speaking on the Kyta Beez experience, vacation and travel photography is something that I definitely have my sights set on.
Yes, you mentioned that when we first met.
Absolutely. That is one of my more quiet goals, but it's something that's in the works.
Okay.
And I think that...
Time to get it on the rooftops, girl. None of that quiet goal stuff.
Oh, you are absolutely right, girl. And it started. I have to give a big shout out to my friend Lexi. She gave me the first opportunity.
She was there that night, right? I met her.
Absolutely. And I was telling you that her sister got married. And before that, they went on the bachelorette trip to Puerto Rico. And I was out there with the family and got to capture their priceless priceless.
Okay, I have to admit,
experiences.
for a second, I thought when you said bachelorette, I literally thought you meant something involving the TV show.
Oh my goodness,
what?
that is hilarious. I know. See, I don't have those connections yet, but soon.
Just me being an airhead. Sorry, go ahead. Reset. You're so...
It's too funny. It was just as exciting. There were no guys there. It was just a bunch of girls.
Yeah.
It was 11 of us total.
Oh my gosh.
I had never traveled with a big group of women like
Wow.
that before. It was a lot of fun. It was a great experience, and it really got my feet wet. And this is something I've been doing for a while, but it was really the first step towards the Kyta Beez experience.
Yeah.
To show people that I can do and get them looking forward to even thinking, hey, I should bring a photographer with me on my vacations because then I don't have to worry about
There you
taking
go.
the pictures or getting my phone wet.
That's
you
a
know.
lovely idea. There are
Who's
tons
gonna
of
get
people who
that?
would pay for that kind of a thing and have
Absolutely.
that on there.
And, you know,
Yeah.
I think I'm a pretty fun person. I think it's...
You
know,
are,
also,
and you
like,
seem
so
very
much,
adventurous. I happen to see, I don't know, maybe a bull riding video and you jumping from like a cliff or something.
Those things did happen in the past 4 weeks.
Things did happen.
Yes. My mother actually just commented on that particular video that me being a wild child, and I would have to say so. I am my mother's wild child.
Well, you're a lot of fun, and I think your wild and adventurous spirit is going to take you very far. I think the world is going to be your oyster, girl.
I can't wait.
Thank you so much for sitting down with me. I really appreciate it.
has
Oh,
been
before we
awesome.
shut down, tell people how to find you.
Yes, so I am all over the Googles. If you put in Kyta Beez, which is KYTABEEZ, you should be able to find me. But it's KytaBeez.com, @KytaBeez. Like she said, I have a bunch of Instagram.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Kyta Beez will take you to where you need to be.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kyta.
Thank you so much, darling. I appreciate you.
You're very
Bye.
welcome.
Welcome to the learning curve.
In talking to Nikyta, it reminded me of how many people I know in daily life and talk to on this podcast who have ended up doing something that they've been drawn to since early in their childhood. What does that tell us about our inner truth? Nikyta told us how her earliest memories of seeing the world through a camera lens came as a toddler. And kudos to her granduncle for encouraging her with the camera and to her mother for boosting her confidence by keeping those early pictures of hers. I mean, even if they were the kind of photos that only a mother can love, they showed Kyta that she has to be encouraged at it, and she was to be encouraged at it. And that message was clearly doubly impactful. I know I'm getting a little bit of armchair psychologist over here, but did you notice how Nikyta finds such joy in bringing that inner truth out of others through her photography? That's pretty cool. Could that be because her inner truth was so valued that she sees that value in others? I'm just saying. So, how are you tapping into your inner toddler, your inner truth? As I'm sure you've heard me say a time or two, my true passion came when I discovered podcasting. But podcasting didn't exist when I was a toddler. So, what other clues could I find? Well, I've always dreamt of being in front of a microphone as a singer, voice actor, radio host, public speaker, stage actress. It would be years, though, before I developed the courage to actually do it. But I always wanted to be on a mic. Even when I worked in retail, I was always the girl that managers wanted to do the store announcements over the PA system. Sometimes I would do them in funny accents and things. I had a good time with it. And in church, I'm one of the prayer leaders, admittedly, in part because I'm so comfortable on a microphone. So it may have taken quite a while through the twists and turns of life to figure out the exact what. But when I discovered podcasting, it was like the heavens opened up and the angels started singing and it all suddenly made so much sense. For you, I suggest thinking back to some of your earliest childhood memories. What was it that you continually tapped into? Out of curiosity, is it related at all to your current passion? If not, is there a creative way that it can be? Don't ignore that inner toddler. Trust me. My son was a toddler just a couple of years ago, and I can assure you, they are terribly persistent. That's the learning curve. My passion behind this project is to provide people who want to go from being dreamers to being doers tips for free on how to be a curvist and get it done. I know how expensive pursuing your passion can be. I know that, especially in the beginning, you seem to need to reinvest every dime made right back into your project. Let the podcast, The Learning Curve, and Dreamers Become Doers on Facebook be your cheap and easy route to support. Whether you have very little budget to put towards your dream right now and can't afford a professional consultant, or are more risk averse and are just dipping a toe in the water of following your dream, or just plain want as much great info for free as possible, you are why I'm doing this podcast. But I'd like you to reconsider your stance on that little word, free. Because though this podcast does have sponsors, they do not cover the full cost of production. And I also really want to upgrade some of my equipment so I can keep making this show grow and become even better for you. So what would you be able to contribute to my cause? Any amount helps. Please go to patreon.com/curvethecube and consider donating even just $1. It would make a huge difference. This is Jemmy, your host and producer with the Curve the Cube podcast. Thanks.
You have successfully curved the cube.